can we all say hello at the same time? You know that they do hello.
Okay, yeah.
Ready? Okay.
Hang on. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello! And welcome to a brand new episode of the Roehampton Players video podcast. My goodness, I'm pissing myself with excitement because this is a choreography special. Hooray! I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by the 4 choreographers who I worked very closely with Judgement Day last term. But we're going to talk about that and other things. We're going to be discussing...
Flash up across the screen right here.
Oh, why did you say that? That's going to take ages. No, we're going to be talking about your dancing backgrounds. We're going to be talking about breaking down your dances that you've done for players' shows and how you approach those dances, any inspirations. And then finally, we'll talk about any tips you have for future choreographers, for players who are thinking about stepping into the role for a show maybe next year or a show coming up this year. So that'll be exciting. I'm very aware I shouldn't really be here. I have next to no dancing knowledge nor talent. You've all seen me in Bop. It's not great. I'm about as coordinated as Jelly trying to stay still. The bendy man is my only claim to dance fame. So yeah, it's not going well for me. So before I introduce you, we have a sponsor. Goodness. So this sponsor is just in time for Valentine's Day, as this will be going up the week before. So lads, start thinking, because this episode is brought to you by our biggest sponsor yet, Love. Love can be found anywhere within a person, pet, or brand new Jensen BX62RS wood chipper. Tying in wonderfully with Valentine's Day, Love is offering you the chance to get your significant other something special this year, like a family trip to Vegas, a new family SUV, or this wonderful Janssen BX62RS wood chipper that I'm told that they would really like removed from their warehouse. Shred a little bit of love into your life this February by entering their competition in the description below at www.wantawoodchipper.com. So thank you to Love for sponsoring this episode. That's very kind of you. I'm sure that wood chipper is absolutely fantastic. But without that, thanks for the money as well. Yeah. We're selling out. This is episode 3, so officially we've made it. We can call it quits here. It's all good. But no, let's introduce you guys. We'll go around the room. If you say your name, the course that you are studying, and what experience you have dancing in players. If we start this way around, go for it.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm a third-year dance student, and I'm new to players this year. And I did my first show. It was Judgement Day. That's it.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a second-year dance study student, and I joined Players last year. And I've been in a couple of shows with Players, and I helped choreograph Judgement Day, and I'm also choreographing Dogfight.
Here we are.
You've met me already. I'm Gina. Third-year drama theatre and performance student. And I first got into choreographing for the Society in my second year, last year, when I was the choreographer for our big musical in 13.
Cool. I'm Amy. I'm a third-year drama theatre and performance student. And I've been with the Players since my first year, done 4 shows with them, and Judgement Day was my first time choreographing with them.
Fantastic. I'm here every week. I'm Stephen. I'm a third-year primary ed combined studies student, and I have no dancing talent or experience whatsoever within the Players, so this is going to be an interesting one for me. And that's not actually a joke. I'm actually genuinely interested because I've been told that, you know, the reason why Judgement Day's dancers are so successful is because you all come from different dancing backgrounds, and I just throw that phrase around. I don't actually know what it means, so I'd like to get into a bit more discussing that in detail in a moment. But first of all, how are we? How are we doing? You know,
Lovely.
yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Halfway through what? This is week 4 now? Or is it
Life's busy.
week 3?
I swear it's week 3.
I
hope
don't
it's
like
week
the
3.
weeks. It stresses me out.
Yeah, it's just the countdown to our
Yeah.
third-year dooms.
I
It's
don't
just,
like it.
Not me.
yeah. No, you're all right. You've got another year. You get to
I'm
witness.
chilling.
You get to witness the stress of this year. Oh, good lord. Yes. So, from Players, you don't have to have choreographed this part, but are there any dances in any shows that you've seen or been in that stick out to you that you've seen or be in? Go for it.
Well, there was this one in Judgement Day. It actually made something actually stick out of my head. Megan choreographed it. It was actually a really good, fun dance to be in.
Didn't cause any injuries at all.
No. So it was the fight scene. So it was choreographed to a piece of music, and it just sort of showed the fight between 2 groups of people yeah, resulted in me headbutting Mason. We miss you. And having a massive lump on my head for a good old week.
And I was not happy that we didn't have any ice packs, so I made Stephen order them
But
1 hour
we
later.
have 22 ice packs now.
So anyone can bang their head.
Oh, let's not tell Corella that. That's going to be a health and safety nightmare. Oh, good lord. So we've got, yes, the fight scene, definitely. I mean, I was part of that. I saw it. It was an absolutely fantastic piece of dance work. I don't know if this is the right jargon to be using, but I'm just going to go with it for now. Yeah. Any other dances that stick out to anyone?
I loved Gina's
Don't threaten
Threaten Me
me.
with a Good Time at the
Don't Threaten Me
beginning.
with a Good
It's
Time.
such a good way to open the show. It was really technical.
Was it?
Yeah.
And it's a different style than like we're used to, I
Yeah.
think, with player shows. We're sort of used to more like jazzy, not contemporary, but like more jazzy sort of.
Yeah. Musical
You know,
theatre.
like
Yeah.
softer stuff, but yours was like proper going for it.
It
and I
felt
loved
quite
it was
hip
great.
hoppy street.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like not my scene.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
One of my faves was from 191 Days. It was choreographed by Samantha Jane Crawford.
Oh.
We miss you.
I think it was called. What was it called?
The protest song.
Protest song.
Oh, yeah.
From a local land.
Oh my god, because we got added into that last minute and we were like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I loved that dance.
It was a good one.
I have very vague memories from 191, I'll admit. I don't know, I was on placement when that show was happening, so I was very sleep deprived when we were on it. So
I
it was-
loved it. I mean, I was just sitting in the audience watching, but I loved it.
Wait,
It was really good.
191 days?
Yeah,
I
so.
saw that one.
Did you? Me
Yeah.
too.
Oh my god, I made you come!
You made me and Jenny come. Sorry.
So I made Moza come.
Cheeky.
And then I was like, oh, can I join players?
Okay, no one will that words, man.
No, I did.
Carry on.
Know exactly what you were saying. So we got those. So let's peel it back. Let's take a step back to begin with. So if we go round the table, because I know you're all from different dancing backgrounds, I'm very interested into what your dancing background is. So if we go around the table and just like discuss what your dancing background is, like how long have you been doing it, what sort of style do you specialise in, and how that has affected your choreographing. I forgot the word. Probably said it wrong as well.
Choreographing.
Choreographing. There we are. Take it away.
I started doing ballet when I was 3. And then I kept doing that and did all my grades. And then when I was about 9, I started doing modern and tap. So I did all my grades in that. And then you go to a place and they mark you. And then I was going to go to a ballet school instead of coming to university. And then I changed my mind last minute and I came to Roehampton. So from a young age, ballet's been my thing. But then I started doing contemporary more here because it's all contemporary here.
Right.
So we do Lamone, Release,
Graham.
Cunningham, ballet. So now I just do ballet, Graham,
Yeah.
Graham, and that's
Right.
it.
Those
Yeah.
names, can we just take a step back quickly there? Because I have no idea what
I
you
don't
just
even
said.
know
So
what they are.
Oh,
for
neither do I.
for the unenlightened that is, watching this, to find out more about dancing, could you tell me what those are? You don't.
There are 4 types of
They're people.
contemporary.
Yeah,
They're people.
who have
Right.
created,
pioneers of modern dance.
Oh right,
people
okay.
who have created their own technique, and through like the years of like learning this technique, it's been altered slightly.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we learn a person's technique of dance basically.
Their
Oh
style.
right, okay.
So rather than doing
There's-
contemporary, we'll do Cunningham style.
Yeah,
Which is
Mercy
a person.
Cunningham.
Right.
Mask.
And how different are those styles?
They're very different, but you can find styles within it that you can relate back. I find everything comes back to ballet in
Yeah.
some shape or form because it's the longest running technique from like, when is it? 1400s?
So you'd be able to watch, like, say, a video of someone dancing contemporary dancing, and you'd be able to, from the moves that they're doing, pick out roughly.
In
where
a
they're-
way.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like pointed feet, the way you shape your arms, turnout, they're all factors from ballet. So
Oh, okay.
I think you will find it in everything. I mean, release is quite different. It's all
So what's released?
letting loose.
Oh
That's
right.
not named
Yeah, I
after a
suppose.
person,
Yeah.
though,
Please
is
in
it?
the name.
You just
No.
release.
Oh, okay.
I think you're just supposed to let go and
Sort of what I do.
dance
Well,
around.
yeah,
kind of.
no.
Release is like what?
Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Casey, where'd you come
So
from?
I started doing ballet and tap when I was about 2. So I've got a similar background to Megan. So I started when I was about 2, and then when I was 11, I think I started doing street and hip hop and jazz and modern and contemporary. I did GCSE dance and A levels too, and then obviously I came to uni. And I was part of the Royal Academy of Dance contemporary team for 2 years too, so that was really
Crikey.
cool. Yeah, that was awesome.
Wow. Okay. So I know I'm aware of the term jazz, but what does that translate to in terms of dancing?
It's sort of similar to
tricky.
ballet, but it's more like there's only a couple of slight differences.
Right.
So for example, like in ballet, your turnout would be more in first position with your feet like going to either side, if that makes sense. So your feet are like in this position.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas for jazz, your feet are usually in like parallel, like that.
Right.
It's like arm movements as well. If you're in ballet, you usually have like a softer arm, like an arched arm. But if you're in jazz, it's like completely straight and elongated.
Oh, okay. So
It's, like,
when you say
slightly
turnout, is that the position you start the dance in?
Turnout is a term of like your hips turning out. So
Okay.
you've
Yeah.
got what's called parallel
Yeah.
when your feet are like this, and turnout is when your feet are like
Oh,
this.
right, okay.
Stand up and have a go.
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah,
Did I put it in frame? I'm not sure. Okay.
Okay.
Right, yeah, go on in.
Right, so that's
That's
normal.
parallel.
Parallel, yeah.
And then
turn your
turn
feet out
out.
like this.
You're going to put your heels together.
Okay.
So your
But
hip
you-
flexors.
but don't-
Wait.
No.
Yeah. That's
Like that?
your natural turnout.
Okay.
So you can push that, but like
I feel like
that's
a penguin.
your hips are going way too fast.
So your hip flexors are literally just turning themselves out.
Yes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get to some
Ah.
ballet
And then do
classes.
like
Crikey.
nice little.
Yeah, we are.
Lovely.
I was actually super excited about this one because I knew I'd actually learn something because I know literally nothing about dance.
Jazz is a bit hard to explain.
Yeah, it's very
Very
similar to
clever.
ballet. It just has slight differences, and it's usually a lot faster and a lot more powerful than ballet.
Okay.
So ballet's like
It's
a lot
jazzy.
softer, and jazz is more like pushing. Yeah, jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
So when you say jazz, does that you dance to jazz music? Because obviously.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So for any dance you can do, you can dance to any music.
Right.
So, for example, me and my friend Patrick last year, for one of our like assessments, we were blindfolded and we danced to literally a metronome, just a beat like that.
Really?
We literally did our whole dance to a metronome and we were blindfolded.
You could
But
probably
they
dance
love
like
You
that.
could
an
literally
hour.
dance to anything, yeah.
Words.
That's crazy.
Or
Oh, okay,
silence.
cool.
You don't need.
Because I was under the impression that when you say I do jazz, you have to dance to jazz music. I was thinking, well, crikey, I musically I have a jazz background, but how do you dance to that? That's like a lot of
I don't think
improvisation,
I've
swing
ever-
rhythms, and crazy
yeah.
time signatures.
I don't think I've ever known anyone to dance to jazz music,
No.
personally.
It's like
I've
Right.
never seen it. Yeah,
Sort
it's,
of typical.
Right.
it's more like
okay.
it's a performance dance style, I guess.
I
Okay.
think you used to do modern, and that would be jazz, but they would call it modern because it's kind of in between contemporary dance and modern dance, where you find this jazz
Right.
exists. It's in between, and it's like it's just a mixture of everything, but it's not as codified with ballet that you have names that are universal across the globe and that you have movements that everyone knows. No matter what language you speak, you'll understand it. Whereas jazz can have a variation of different
Right.
things and so many other things, but everyone knows what plie is. You do your bar, you do your centre, you do your corner for ballet. Jazz is a
Right.
mixture
Yeah.
of absolutely everything.
Okay, cool. Oh man, only halfway around the table. I've learned so much. Gina.
So, in my life, I've been a bit of a studio whore. So, I've dabbled in loads and loads of different styles of dance. I started off when I was 4 doing tap and modern, and then I also joined ballet. Ballet lasted for about a year, which my mum was not happy about. She bought everything I needed, and then I said I wanted to quit. So, then as I grew up, what did I do? I first got introduced to street hip hop style, which is where I think my forte is now. I then, at the age of 11, I joined the dance school I'm currently with now. And that's when I sort of started to dabble in American Latin, ballroom, line dancing, rock and roll, freestyle, and street. Since then, I've sort of given up most of them apart from freestyle and street. I still kind of dabble in a bit of Latin and stuff, but street is mostly my
Yeah.
Your
So-
crew.
Yeah. Street
So
hip-hop.
you two were saying that these dance styles, the more contemporary dance styles, relate to ballet. How does street relate to ballet, if at all? Because I imagine.
So,
Not.
like you said, ballet is sort of the foundation of
Mhm.
everything. It's really good for like your core, your balance. like, for example, diversity, most of them have some sort of ballet training to make sure they can keep their balance, because they're all incredible street dancers. But you just need that sort of basis to...
Okay.
I think that having done ballet, you know where to put your core and you know where to put your torso and your pelvis. So when you go in to do street, you know how to change it and adapt to a completely different style that doesn't look like ballet.
Okay.
So I feel like once you've having done ballet before, you know how to alter your body to do a different style and to like produce movements that are completely different to balletic and...
So this is probably going to sound like a really stupid question, but like, do the different dance types use different muscle sets? Because they're so different.
In different ways.
Yeah. So, for example, so you say ballet, that's like the core, pelvis. What muscle groups would street be?
I feel like you use more of your arms.
And your legs.
Yeah,
as well.
definitely legs, like thighs. They always hurt after a good old...
Yeah, because you're quite grounded and low, whereas
Yeah.
ballet you've got to be
Right.
pulled up the entire time, so you're probably using your hamstrings more, whereas in street maybe using your quads more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
I don't know. Who knows?
And you say, street can be danced to any song you want, /poem, / any...
You could do it to a piece of classical ballet.
I've seen people do like the Dying Swan, which is from Swan Lake, and they'll do like a really slow street beginning, and then they'll remix the music into, like a street type of music, and it will turn into like a pop rock
That's
sort
really
of
cool.
thing. So
Okay.
people will do anything with it.
Amy?
I started dancing when I was 2. Exactly the same. I focused on ballet. I was always told ballet is the core. Once you get that, you'll be able to do everything else. And then I started to jazz and tap. But probably after I decided that it was something that I wanted to do more, it was more musical theatre. So I took everything I'd learned and put that into like musical theatre. So when I was 16, my secondary school I went to, I choreographed all their like big shows, so I was doing musical theatre choreography. I'd probably say my favourite is like tap dance.
Okay.
Because I'm choreographing the tap competitions team for Roehampton this year, so that's really fun.
Blimey.
Tap's just nice, it's different, and people are always impressed when they say you can tap dance.
Yes, I think that's the only, like, my mum used to be a dance teacher, and that's the only tie to dance I ever had. I never did it, but she was a tap dance teacher. I'll probably cite this, I'm probably wrong, but like she does have tap shoes somewhere, and whenever she was dancing when I was a kid, I was like, Christ, what is going on with the feet? It's like so many movements happening. It's like, I don't know how it works, but it's really impressive, and it's one of the only dance show I've ever been to was one of the last shows of Riverdance, which that was absolutely fantastic. I'm just like, what is going on? But I really like that style of dance.
I think tap's probably the hardest sort of style of dance I've properly done, because you need to, like, if you're doing a wing, you need to get that outside to get it back in again, and
it's very detailed.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Very
technique
detailed.
to it, but it's all rhythm, it's all timing, which is, I feel like, more... Well, obviously you need rhythm and timing for everything, but with tap, if your rhythm is wrong, if the beats are wrong, it sounds shit.
If you miss one sound, then you fucked it all.
Okay. So can I just take a step back? When you said wing, what does that mean?
Wing.
It's a movement.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Step.
So
Okay.
your feet,
It's like
so you're outside of your feet.
Your ankles
Oh,
kind
okay.
of curve out
roll
and then
over.
they come back in
Oh, okay.
as you jump.
Right, fair enough.
What sort of sound does it make? Like a...
That was 4 completely different sounds there, but okay, fair enough. I'm going to put some Russian beats over that. It's going to be sick. So, absolutely fantastic. That's really interesting. I've learned so much already. I'm just Christ. We're only 20 minutes in. This is great. So let's. I want to talk about Judgement Day mainly, partly because it's so close to memory. It was only 3 months ago. So with Judgement Day was one of the few shows where we had more than one choreographer for the entire show, because Jack, JP and I sort of just had no idea where to start with. None of us danced very well at all, and let alone being able to choreograph, so we were just like, oh, okay. And by the time that we were starting to think about dance, we were like, oh, crikey, we can't ask someone to do just the entire thing. That's far too short notice. So, we ended up asking you 4, and you were fantastic to work with, because you sort of just divvied it up divvied the songs up that we told you needed dance, but then we also just went, have fun with it. Like, so I'm really interested. So we didn't really give you any guidance at all.
Very
Like,
vague.
It was incredibly vague, but that's because we didn't really have any idea what to say in order to guide you. So we were just like, interpret this how you want. And I'm really interested to hear like how you. So if you take your favourite song from Judgment Day that you choreographed, what steps did you take in order to interpret that into moves that you could teach someone else? Like,
I think, the way I sort of started, so with the Panic song, it just came on my playlist, like on the train home or something, and I messaged JP straight up. I was like, right, I don't care who you get into choreograph, but I want to do this one. And you sort of listen to it more and more, and then as you listen to it, ideas form in your head on what you sort of want, and then you just, I don't know, as you sort of listen to it, you put bits together.
Yeah, as a dancer or a choreographer, as we are, I honestly listen to music on the train and there's a dance in my head, that I'm doing.
Really?
Yeah. And sometimes I don't even realise, then I'm like, that this is mad.
I'm either doing it with my teeth or I'm doing it with my feet or it's just in my head.
And I'm like making stuff up in my head. So when I know I have to choreograph something, I just make myself listen to it so many times. So that when I do come down to actually getting into a studio, I've got something to work with.
Yeah.
That's super
That way
cool.
you also hear like extra little beats throughout the songs that you can use as well. So there was that bit at the end of Panic where, you know, we sort of just like duh 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 shh. And the people who would have just heard it, like just listened to it in general, were just like, where does this go in? And like it's just making people listen to it and just like, it's here, it's right here. Like
It's so obvious to you when you know where it is.
Yeah.
I think you have to consider when you first have to choreograph something, like who you're choreographing for.
Right.
Like it's a lot different if I'm choreographing for a dance team. They've all like danced for a long time, they've got the skills. Whereas maybe a players show, you've got people that haven't danced before, aren't as confident, so you have to not like scare them away with a load of choreo that's crazy.
They still want to.
You want it to look good, like it's your choreography.
Like,
you want it to look amazing,
It's
but
hard
you
to
can't.
find the in between.
Yeah.
Right.
it's so much easier to choreograph difficult pieces than it is to
Easy,
choreograph
yeah.
Simpler ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much harder because obviously you want your work to be the best it can be.
Of course,
you know what it can be, but yeah, you have to consider who's in it. Definitely.
So considering Panic, because I've got it in my head now, you mentioned it, I was like, right, okay. So was there like a particular section of the song that came first and then you worked around that, or was it something you started at the beginning and then built up?
Well, it was the bit, you know, in the beginning of the first verse where it's like there's little like a symbol or something in the background. They're like, that's the very first, that bit, that's the very first thing I wanted. And obviously I had one instruction was everyone needs to be on the floor during the verse. I was like, right, okay. So all I had it was like, I just want people to move one piece of their body because it just makes it look effective. Sometimes smaller moves look better.
Okay.
It's like we were dead but not dead.
It's really hard to explain how you do something because it just happens.
I think of it like a story. Like there's a beginning, there's an end, and a lot of the time you don't know what the beginning or the end is, and you go with the chorus. I start with the chorus if I don't know what to do because that's probably the most climatic part of the song, and then you just build it into sort of. It's not just a routine. It's got to go somewhere with something. It can't be the same pace throughout. You can't have the same formation. So I don't know. I kind of start in the middle, which I don't like. I like starting it from beginning to end. But if you don't know how to start it,
so was that sort of the approach of how you approached the fight scene, the infamous fight scene?
I have no idea what I was doing with that. I just had to listen to the music 1,000 times because when you listen to it, it doesn't change like at all. It is like the same. It just keeps going. There's no quieter bit. There's no louder bit. It's just, and that was a struggle. I was like, I was like, I'll do the fight, and then when I started listening to it, I thought this isn't what I was expecting. But then I don't know. It's in very quick eights and just did things. But I think there was a lot of freedom to it. It wasn't something you had to count, except that middle bit when we're down. Everything else was just like, okay, that takes you that long, and then we'd be really early for the middle, or we'd be really late, and it just we had to work with it. But people weren't dancers with that, so it was.
I think sometimes it's easier to wait until you're with the people you're choreographing for, because then you can see what works. You can see how much skill they do have, because you might overestimate it or underestimate it. Like for example, with the fight scene, you have to see if Max and Mason could do the
Yeah,
flip.
I was like, oh, they probably won't, but let's try it. And then they did it. I was like, okay.
That's,
There's an injury, but it doesn't matter.
yeah, well, that's
Like, sometimes you imagine something in your head and then you go to do it and it will just look awful.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
have to say to your dancers, sorry, we're changing this.
Or, like, step up if you
Yeah.
really want it, you know?
No, I completely understand where you came from. The music that you had to choreograph that fight scene to was difficult
It was
because,
just not what I was used to.
yeah, I mean, it's it was a drum and bass track really that was, you don't really get that in shows, and probably for good reason, because it's sort of like quiet introduction and then it's just peaking the volume limiter for the entire song.
Yeah.
So there's not really any breaks at all.
Yeah.
But that was a really interesting sequence because JP, Jack, and I, we'd talked about this fight scene. We hadn't really, obviously, we weren't going to choreograph it because we had no idea where to start. But we were thinking, we all had it in our head independently that it was going to be a massive thing where everyone's on the stage at all times, each of them fighting at the same time, and we were sort of really pleasantly surprised when we arrived on that dance rehearsal and you had it so that 2 or 3 people would come on at a time to do their fight thing, because suddenly it didn't look messy, and I think that was something that was such a credit to that scene, especially with the lights going around and
I think
everything.
that helped break it into sections. I mean, not the first time where JP did not tell us he was going to put the strobe on and just let us go.
right.
It was like,
Now.
great. But
Adapt, improvise,
yeah,
overcome.
having those red lights in the middle, the strobe stopping, really split it up.
Yeah,
But then I kind of thought of it like a film when they have a fight scene that they cut to different
that's right.
things.
Yeah,
And I think if you had a fight with everyone on, we had some
Yeah.
points where we were all on, but it's too much to look at,
yeah.
and it does look a bit too much. So I so I had to figure out who was on the good side, who was on the bad
Yeah.
side. So who was going to fight who, and then who was going to die. And,
That's right. Yeah.
all
No,
that nice.
I think that's a really nice contrast from the music not being very interesting dynamically, so you make it interesting on stage, and I think that's how it sort of evened out. I don't know, I could be chatting absolute rubbish, but that's sort of how I see it and how I saw it from the side every night. It was a really, really good sequence. Yeah.
It was
Really
so good to watch as well. It was so much fun because obviously, as a spectator watching it with the lighting and the sound and everything, it was literally like overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think it was really emotional as well because it sort of captured the raw, like, base of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just like the
It was
bit
really
with
cool to watch.
the space opera.
Space
Oh my
just to
goodness,
break
that
it
was so
up in
funny.
like
Yeah.
moments of craziness. I was like,
That was
okay.
really funny when you came to the rehearsal in retrospect, where you had Joe and Will fighting each other in this dance scene,
Yeah.
and JP was like, "Oh no, we can't have that. They're supposed to be friends." And so in that rehearsal, we're like, "Right, okay, well, we're just gonna have to come up with something here and now because we can't, So we sort of wrote that he lied about the swing, and that wasn't in the original script at all. I think that's brilliant. Such a bodge fix, but it works so well.
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah. So, we had the fight scene, we've had Panic. Katie, how would what you build on?
I choreographed the song Judgement Day,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it was one of the most emotional songs in the show. So the way I did it, I tried to not get it to be very like dancey,
Right.
if that makes sense, because I wanted the focus to be mainly on Kat and Micah, who were playing the two characters on stage. So I tried to sort of draw it back a little bit so that we could focus mainly on them. But I had 3 dancers on stage, and we did like little formation changes, and we did a few moves, and then we went off and then just like left the rest to them. But I think the way I sort of choreographed it was, again, listen to the music, how we would usually, I don't know, like I sort of find improvising a really good tool and a really good way to come up with stuff, and then I can use the method of select and reject,
Right.
which is basically you do a little bit of dancing, you can film yourself and watch it back and see which movements you think work and which movements you think don't.
Okay.
And then you have like a collection of movements, and all you need to do is slot them in together to make a sequence.
Right.
So
okay.
I use that quite a lot as well because I find that a really good way to explore new movements that you wouldn't necessarily try
Okay.
if you were just choreographing.
So in that sense, because you have these bank of moves that you come up with
Mhm.
and then select, you tend to start at the beginning of a song when it comes to
it
choreographing?
depends what the song is.
Right, okay.
It depends if I have like ideas for like actual set ideas before I start improvising.
Okay.
So yeah.
So in terms, I'll draw it to something way more in the present. So we've done the choreographing, yeah, for some kind of time.
Yes.
Yes. So how did you was that any different to how you approached Judgment Day?
Yeah, so some kind of time, I feel like it's a lot more physical theatre,
Mhm.
I would say. So I listened to it from the beginning and I watched videos on YouTube to get ideas, and I looked at who I was working with, like you guys said earlier as well. And because it's more of like a laddish dance,
Yeah.
I sort of brought in some gestures that I could see like guys doing. And I
Right.
sort of tried to adapt it into like more of a dancey sort of style.
Right.
So that one was different because I did start from the beginning, like just using my head and using videos and using the guys in front of me.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. So physical theatre is more, as you say, gestures.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more
Like
gestures,
movement.
Yeah.
characterisation
Right.
rather than actual dance sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is the first dance that I'm in ever, like in
You're
players.
doing a
So
good job, by the way.
I hope so. But I took left the room thinking, okay, so it's like largely improvisation for a lot of the
Mhm.
scenes, the things that we're not seeing. But like I have to be in a certain point at a certain
Yeah.
point in the
Mhm.
song, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I love it. It's not complicated
Thank
at all. I'm just like, yes, I can't.
I think that's
I'm gonna have to try very hard to fuck this up.
That's usually the sort of thing for most sort of musical theatre style dances. It's like doing 13. When you're doing a song, you're like, right, so guys, you wait here for ages now. You just have to interact with each other.
Mhm.
It's like, sorry,
Yeah.
you're literally just waiting here while these people are. So it's like,
Yeah.
I
Well, you
think-
can't stand at the side and just like
Yeah.
watch like a group of people doing something. It's all an organised chaos.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, but
I think
I
it
like
brings
that.
the characters to life more as well because
Yeah.
you have time to sort of figure out your character and see how they would move in that sort of sense and that
Yeah.
sort of atmosphere.
I really enjoy what you've done with the characters of Boland and Bernstein. The fact
Thank
that he sort of goes after my character, just
Yeah.
like as a jokey laddie thing, like I'm just gonna noogie you there or give you a wedgie
Friendly
or something.
banter,
yeah,
right?
yeah, friendly Vietnam '60s banter. But yeah, and finally, Amy, anything to build on how you approach songs that you've choreographed?
So in Judgment Day, I did Doomsday, which was just like madness. I knew that the lights were going to be like stroby, and it was just a song that was like this. When I first heard it, I was like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I was like, JP, you sure?
it's a real mix of songs in Judgment
Yeah,
Day. You're like, what?
It was really interesting. Sorry, like with the song list, because I got it over summer before they'd finished the final version of the script, and there was actually Fall Out Boy in there.
Mhm.
That was going to replace Charlie's song before Charlie suggested let's do Great Escape instead. And when I was listening to the playlist, he sent me it. I was like, Nero Dooms, that's dubstep. What are we doing with this in here? But so yeah, obviously it's very similar to, you know, end credits. It's like completely different to what you
Yeah.
normally get on
It
stage.
really worked though. It
Yeah,
really
it really
worked.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that before, but yeah, I guess I just took the ideas of us being at a party. Don't do too much like choreographed stuff. I think my favourite part was like the slow motion bit we did
Yeah.
That
to
was
show that
really
we were
cool.
all like
Yeah.
on
And that was
drugs.
further emphasised with the light changes. Suddenly you go from
Yeah.
strobes to like nothing, no strobes, just colours,
Yeah.
and then you're all like, oh, it's fantastic.
It
Yeah.
just shows it's not choreography isn't just one thing. It's the lights, the music, the people. Like it's not
Yeah.
just the
Mhm.
like it wouldn't have worked without like for all of the dances like without having like you know the
Absolutely,
different
yeah.
factors that affect it.
There's a part in Doomsday that I really enjoy. It's you've got them all partying at the back, and then you four come in front, and you do like a little sequence there. I really,
Girls.
yeah, no, I really like that because it's like,
Remember when we did I go the wrong way?
No, I probably did.
so how did you come up with that? Like you guys separating yourselves, coming in front, like
Oh, I don't know. I just thought.
It sounds like a dance break. So what happens at a dance break? A dance happens.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, I just thought I'd use our abilities, do a little sequence to show us off, really.
Thanks, Amy.
Before we get into a big group, and it was supposed to be a party scene, so they were at the back party and we were.
It's like, you know, when everyone gets in a circle and then you
Right.
send people in.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Not.
I think I always remember when we were doing runs, obviously I'm off to the side and we do that. And it was before we had the lighting. And it's when you're in the triangle formation and like each row goes down. I loved that. That was fantastic when it worked. But in like the rehearsals when people were like late, it was just like, sorry, Will. I was refraining from calling you out, but it's all good. It's all good.
Cannons are like hidden beauties.
Yeah.
They were really
I
effective.
make
like unsung
everything look
heroes.
so special, and it's really literally
take up so
simplest
much
thing.
Time.
Okay, so
You
I've
know,
just
as a choreographer, if you've like got counts to fill and you don't know what to do, cannon.
right.
Always cannon. So if
Okay,
you've
I've
got
just been
8
mindlessly
people,
agreeing with you, but what is a cannon?
So like, as you go
Should
down.
we do an example
Yeah.
around the table?
What should we do?
Should we go that way?
Okay, go on.
What are we doing?
I think wrong arm.
Like a cannon going round. So like,
the same
so mine was a
movement.
cannon because the front people went down.
Oh,
the second
right,
one,
I get
third
it,
and
yeah.
fourth. So if you've got like a long line of like 12 people in a dance and you want a cannon, all of them can go down and it's a really cool effect. It's like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
and
7, 8.
Gotcha.
it
you
just
would
takes
pick-
up time and it looks really cool.
It's
It
like
always
a
looks
dancing
cool.
Mexican wave.
Yeah.
Is that a really like? Is that an okay?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay. That's really cool. Yeah. No, that was super effective because not only that, it's a bit like the lights stopped strobing so you can actually see the movement. I remember that was like not an issue, but like something I noticed before we refined the lights, that the movements that you did in Doomsday were sort of being essentially halved because you couldn't see them because of the strobes. So the fact that we managed to we coordinated it and refined it so that the lights stopped doing it when the cannon was happening, when you guys were in sequence at the front, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. Anything to build on that?
Yeah, me and Gina choreographed Feeling Good,
Oh yeah, of course. Let's talk about feeling good.
So good.
which was hard. Like, it was hard to choreograph, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
I think the
it's a
scope
song
that we
as
gave you
well.
was it's
Yeah.
a rape scene. Go
Yeah.
figure.
It's a rape scene, it's a torture scene.
It's always been a song I've wanted to choreograph like my entire life. So the first bit, the nice bit.
Oh yeah, I loved the nice
That
bit.
was
We were like, let's just be sexy, let's be like dead sexy girls with a ribbon.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. And then we had to try and involve Mason.
That was
Yeah.
hard.
I mean, it was nice to have Mason because he was really tall.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could jump on him and he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Um,
You just had to try everything out, see what
Yeah.
he could do, see what you could do.
Bit trial and error.
yeah, it's trial and error. And what looks disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, the bit where he's got my leg and he like goes back.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the front.
Like, for me, it didn't look freaky, but for people that watched, they were like, oh my god, that looks so
Yeah.
disgusting. So it's just,
Yeah.
you've got to watch and see what it looks like.
I don't know about you, but feeling good just doesn't have the same. Like whenever I listen to it now, I just can't think of it in its original state. I always cast back to
Just
Judgement
like really
Day, and
psychopathic.
yeah, I think it's such a cool song because you've got like the spaces of. I mean, I'm getting into like the musical bit. Like it starts quiet, and it goes really climaxes, and then that's when you can really go nuts.
The funniest bit is you two, like every dress run or every like rehearsal before, I swear even the first show, you're sat at the side and then you hear the music come on, you're like, shit, we always forgot when it was, and you start straight away, you just see you lot peg it on from like sat watching something and you're like,
I remember the first time I watched it, and like when you jumped on Mason, everyone was like, "What the hell is going on?" But then after we were literally astounded by it because it was so good. It looked so realistic.
We were freaked
and then you
out.
finished, and we were like, "Guys, that was absolutely incredible." You guys were like, "Nah, it wasn't that good." And we were like, "Guys, like honestly, if you watch that back on video, like you're gonna astound yourself. Like it was insane."
freaky but in a good way.
It looked really
That's
good.
It stays with you. Like
Yeah.
now that, like you just said, now every time I listen to it, I think of you guys and Mason. It like stays with you.
Yeah.
It's definitely like. It's the most beautiful rape scene, and I hate saying that because it's so horrible, but it's like really, really creative and it was really, really well done.
And something challenging about that was me and Gina had like dialogue in between.
Yeah.
that was it.
It's the
Yeah.
breath.
Whenever there's something in Dogfight as well where there's dialogue in between dances. It's hard.
It is.
And yeah, so we were like out of breath, didn't have mics, the music was still going.
Yeah.
And then the direction would still be like mysterious and creepy. So I'm trying to shout like, ah, like do you know what I mean? And it was so
I feel
hard.
like that was a constant challenge in Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Like after the fight scene, we've got like the longest scene in the history of the world, and it's just like you're just dead.
Yeah.
I just sort of
Gina's
come on,
got-
run on and be like, guys, stop, everyone's on the floor, like...
And you can feel the sweat.
It's
It
like
was
you're trying to be
disgusting.
as dead as you can, but you just out of breath.
Yeah.
Like, I promise I'm
And you
dead.
had so
You see
many
a pile of
lines.
bodies, like,
Yeah.
going up and down at
Yeah.
different times, like...
I think that was
no
like
diaphragms, just release.
Yeah. I'm not dead.
that was one of the big challenges because obviously we're very much an amateur thing, so we can't afford microphones for everyone, so we just have to like work with the microphones we can afford. And big up Micah for helping me figure it out with
Yes.
Judgment Day. That was a really, it was fun, but yeah, there was definitely scenes where characters without mics had to speak with this band playing in the background, and oh man, I think feeling good especially was challenging was the fact we didn't play the whole song. We only so the dialogue happened in the place of the second verse, and then the chorus comes in a weird way. It doesn't come in the same way as the original song, and then we had to change it so Mason didn't sing it because there was no way he was going to be able to belt out
And lift you up.
and lift you up at the same time. Like, it was lots of stuff going on, but I think that was it overall. Like, when the footage is up somewhere, it did look really good. So props to you all. It was such a fantastic show.
Made it.
And
How many numbers was there? Like 12?
12, yeah?
Yeah.
I think so.
We
There was a-
took 2 each.
Mm.
So that's 8.
and then there were a few that didn't have any dance. I have the playlist up somewhere. How many did we have? Judgment Day. Oh, it feels weird clicking on this playlist.
Mm.
Man. 6, 9,
It's very nostalgic.
14.
Yeah, well, we
14
had
numbers.
stuff like My Way where we didn't choreograph.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had a few.
Not Jean.
Stand By Me.
Song.
Yeah.
There was a few that we just
Yeah.
did acting through.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my last thing, and this is just so anyone can jump in on this, but for people who are thinking about putting on a show next year, who are thinking, I would like to go and be a choreographer, what tips would you have for these people thinking about
Make sure
doing
you
it?
have time.
Yeah.
Make sure you have time. Okay, jumping right in there. So by time, just making sure you're organised, or
Well, you need to set time to actually choreograph it before your rehearsal. Then you need to make sure you have time for your rehearsal.
Yeah.
And then
Catch-ups.
Your catch-ups, your university.
There'll always be people that can't make it.
yeah,
Yeah.
People won't ever get it the first time round either,
No.
so you'll spend longer than you think.
Patience.
Yeah,
patience.
definitely.
You never ever have a rehearsal with everyone until like the day before.
All
Yeah.
the day.
I think that's like players, like that should be our like
Motto.
Yeah.
that no 100% attendance is only reserved for the tech day.
Not even then.
Yeah,
Not everyone was there for the 13 Tech Day. We had a full cast on the first show.
There you go.
that was it. Yeah, I mean our PA did catch fire, but like that was our.
And be clear of what you're saying. Like, you might say, okay, we're going to do a pas de bourrée, and then some people don't know what that is. So
I don't know what that is.
Part of it right now.
I don't know what that is.
As exemplified.
What is it?
it's a
Megan,
step.
teach
where you-
him.
or you- it's just like behind, side, front. So you put behind to the side, front.
Oh right, is
Okay.
that similar to like the draw box on the floor thing?
That's
That's a
box
box
step.
step.
Box
But a
step.
pas de bourrée can be to say you've got pas de bourrée, or you could have a turning pas de bourrée. Pas de bourrée, it's all the same steps, but you just turn around.
This is how you step it. You
Yeah.
Part of the ball rack.
Yeah, so you like
Oh,
pas de bourrée.
I see. I'm so confused. Sweet. No.
But like that, so you just have to explain what the steps are
Right.
instead of just because not everyone might not know what you're talking
Of course.
about.
It can be a really stressful process, but having said that, when it all comes together and you've got like the finished product, it is so effective and it's so worth doing it. And it's good to challenge yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because I never thought I would choreograph, and here I am choreographing. So
Any other final words? Because we have just hit 45 minutes. We've been
Sick.
chatting and discussing choreography for 45 minutes. Thank you ever so much for coming on this podcast. This was one I was really excited for because I knew I didn't know anything about dance, so I've actually learned an awful lot, and that's been really interesting to talk about, break down all the Judgement-based songs that you had involvement, as well as learning about all of your backgrounds and some steps and
Turn out.
turnout. That was I was thinking turning. No. Turn out. Yeah. So now this podcast. I need to plug the podcast, I suppose. This will be on YouTube. This is due out It's every Thursday on YouTube and SoundCloud. So consider subscribing. We're doing a podcast every Thursday, different theme every time, different guests. It's going to be super exciting. Is there anything you would like to plug of your own that you have? Instagrams, Facebooks, YouTubes?
My YouTube again.
Yeah. Get a second
I've
plug
already
in.
plugged it. But go check out my YouTube. Link down below. I do behind the scenes vlogs of all the Roehampton Play shows. So
They are super interesting and super entertaining. So
They
yes.
will also be going up on our Roehampton Players YouTube channel as well. We're stealing them from you.
copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't claim our material. There's none of this sweet dollar that we're making from all our sponsorships. Yeah. But no, thank
Follow
you
me
guys.
on Instagram, it's Jinstagram with 4 M's. Oh,
Instagram.
Jinstagram.
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
that how you say it?
Jinstagram.
Mm.
Like Ginastagram.
That's really clever.
I know.
Yeah, very good. Do you want to plug your Instagrams at all?
I don't
Whilst we're
even
at
know the name of my Instagram.
Moza.
it? Moza.
Follow Moza.
Sure, go follow me at Katie_DiggsXOX.
Banging.
XO.
You can just write it.
Yeah, I'll just
I
write
don't
it on
know
the
what it
screen.
says.
That's cool. It's coming up. It's flying about. Yeah.
If you're a sex robot, don't follow me on Instagram, please.
What?
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 Jinsta?
No, I said if you're a sex robot,
Oh.
don't follow me on Instagram, please.
Why, has that happened before?
It happens all the time.
Oh.
Little Miss
you.
Popular over here.
All
Anyway.
the sex robots love me.
Oh, goodness.
Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no.
Again.